Good day to everyone. I'm Nayely Sablaon and I am joined by my fellow researchers Jaden Phelan, Jearfelyn Grace Ramos, Kreziah Karen Roque, Cyril Christian Salas, and Marvin Joseph Trillana. Together, we proudly present our research in progress titled Shadows of Injury, exploring the struggles of collegiate athletes with anterior cruciate ligament rupture. This study is conducted under the Institute of Physical Education and Athletics at the University of Santo Tomas, Manila, Philippines. To better understand our research focus, here are the key concepts that ground our study. Anterior cruciate ligament or ACL, injury experiences, physiological challenges, emotional and mental struggles, and social support. To introduce, ACL rupture is a severe and increasingly common injury among collegiate athletes, particularly those in high intensity sports such as basketball, football, and volleyball. But what's often overlooked is how this injury doesn't just affect the physical body. Unfortunately, the mental, emotional, and social toll often goes unnoticed because the spotlight is usually on the physical recovery alone. This is particularly true for collegiate athletes who carry the dual burden of academic and athletic expectations, a fact supported by Dos Santos et al. In 2020, who found that student athletes often report increased stress and performance anxiety due to balancing both roles. This is why our study is rooted in the importance of understanding the holistic struggles faced by injured student athletes. To explore this comprehensively, our research is grounded on three core theories. First is Angel's biopsychosocial model that highlights the recovery isn't just physical, it also involves emotional and social healing. Next is Weiss and Jorn-Stahl's psychological response to injury model, which explains how athletes react emotionally, mentally, and behaviorally to injuries, including fear or even withdrawal. Lastly is Rees and Hardy's social support theory, which emphasizes the importance of support from their peers, coaches, and professionals in aiding both recovery and mental well being. This leads us into our holistic approach model, a visual representation of the interconnectedness of the physical, mental, emotional, and social dimensions of an athlete's recovery journey. If an athlete is mentally struggling, it can slow down their physical healing. But if one area improves, say they receive strong emotional support, it can create a positive ripple effect across the others. This model affirms one thing, that we cannot view ACL injuries through a purely physical lens. Recovery is multidimensional. It must be approached holistically with attention to the whole person, not just the torn ligament.
The primary aim of our study is to explore the lived experiences of these athletes in order to shed light on the different challenges they face during recovery. First, we aim to examine the physical limitations that athletes experience after their injury. ACL ruptures often results in significant restrictions in the athlete's mobility, strength, and overall physical performance. Our research seeks to identify the extent to which these limitations affect an athlete's ability to train, compete, and carry out daily activities. We also aim to understand the timeline of physical recovery and the challenges encountered during rehabilitations, such as pain, decreased endurance, and reconditioning. Second, we will understand the mental struggle they go through, such as anxiety or fear of re-injury. An ACL injury doesn't just impact the body, it takes a toll on the mind as well. Athletes may experience intense stress due to their sudden removal from the sport they are passionate about. Our study will explore issues such as performance anxiety, fear of another injury, reduced self confidence, and difficulty coping with the uncertainty of recovery and return to play. Third, we also want to understand their emotional struggles, including feelings of frustration or loss of identity. The emotional impact of an ACL injury can be profound. Athletes often see their sport as a core part of who they are. Being sidelined can lead to feelings of isolation, sadness, and even depression. We aim to capture these emotional experiences in depth, including how athletes deal with setbacks, their emotional responses to slow progress, and how they perceive changes in their role within their team or community. And lastly, our study seeks to investigate the role of social support from teammates, family, and coaches in helping these athletes through rehabilitation. The presence or absence of a strong support system can greatly influence recovery outcomes. We intend to explore how different forms of social support contribute to motivation, emotional stability, and overall rehabilitation success. Whether it's encouragement from teammates, understanding from family members, or guidance from coaches and therapists, we aim to highlight the importance of a supportive environment in the healing process. Through this study, we hope to provide valuable insights that could contribute and improve recovery programs and emotional support systems for injured athletes.
Now, moving on to our research questions. First, we have our central question. Our research endeavors to answer a central question that lies at the heart of this issue. How do Tamashii and collegiate athletes navigate the physical, mental, and emotional social challenges of an ACL rupture? To truly grasp the complexities involved, we've broken down this central question into several key areas. Our first sub-question is, what physical challenges do Tamashii and collegiate athletes face after an ACL rupture? As our literature review highlights, an ACL rupture initiates a cascade of neuromuscular changes. Beyond the immediate pain and instability, athletes often experience altered muscular activation, impaired proprioception, and compensatory movement patterns. Secondly, how does an ACL rupture affect their place in or on the team? This inevitably affects their athlete's place because for many collegiate athletes, their identity is deeply entwined with their role on the team. So, for example, if they are a team captain or they seek or have a critical role in the structured programs, our research seeks to understand how this disruption in their athletic identity and perceived role within the team impacts their recovery and eventually return to play. Our third question, what mental and emotional effects do Tamashii and collegiate athletes experience? Furthermore, we cannot overlook this because it's very significant because we are looking at what is beyond just the physical realm. As our review of related literature indicates, athletes often grapple with a range of psychological responses, including anxiety, depression, and even PTSD of fear of for the future or even the past. Now, our fourth question is, what support systems and coping strategies contribute to the recovery and return to sports? Finally, our research explores this critical role in the support systems and coping strategies of an athlete's journey. We aim to understand what resources and relationships prove most beneficial in navigating these challenges, identifying effective coping mechanisms, and impact strong social support networks throughout our research.
Now for the methodology we will use in our research. To deeply explore the lived experiences of the collegiate athletes who have suffered an ACL rupture, we are employing a phenomenological qualitative research design. This approach allows us to focus on personal, in-depth stories of the athletes and uncover the essence of their struggles and recovery journeys. For our participants, we will use purposive sampling, selecting Tamashii student athletes who have previously sustained an ACL injury. This ensures that we gather insights from individuals who have truly lived through the phenomenon we are studying. In terms of, in terms of data collection, we will conduct in-depth one-on-one interviews. These interviews will allow participants to openly share their physical, mental, emotional, and social challenges in a safe and reflective space. To analyze the data, we will apply Collizer's method. This involves extracting significant statements from the interviews, formulating meanings, and clustering them into themes. This rigorous and systematic process ensures that our findings are grounded in the participants' real experiences. Through this methodology, we aim to uncover rich, meaningful insights that will help us better understand the multidimensional impact of ACL injuries among collegiate athletes.
For the expected outcomes and considerations, we aim to uncover significant themes from the lived experiences of Tomasian student athletes who have gone through an ACL injury in this study. We believe that through their stories, we will better understand the deeper struggles they face, not just physically, but also mentally, emotionally, and socially. We expect to highlight how these challenges are all interconnected, For example, an athlete's physical limitations like pain or reduced mobility can also affect their mental health, leading to stress or even fear of playing again. These struggles can then trigger emotional reactions like frustrations or sadness and even cause social disruptions like feeling disconnected from their team or support system. With these insights, we hope to provide a comprehensive understanding of what ACL injury recovery really looks like, not just focusing on on the body but also the mind and relationships. So from there, our findings may help inform and improve current rehabilitation practices, and more importantly, help highlight the need for mental health interventions in the recovery process. Often, the emotional and mental side of injuries is overlooked, so we want to help change that. And then lastly, we want to emphasize the importance of emotional resilience and social reintegration because healing isn't just about getting back on the court or field. It's also about regaining confidence, restoring one's identity, and feeling supported by others. Next slide, please. Thank you. As for our next step, we will continue with data gathering and completing our interviews with Tomasian student athletes who had an ACL injury. So our timeline is as follows. Data collection will take place in August 2025. And then for the thematic analysis of our findings using Colysis method will begin in September 2025. And by the end of the year, we plan to finish the full research paper.
For our challenges encountered during the study, conducting qualitative research that probes into the emotional and psychological experiences of, of injured student athletes posed several challenges. One of the primary difficulties encountered was emotional sensitivity during interviews. Given the personal and often traumatic nature of ACL injuries, some participants experience emotional discomfort when recalling their struggles. The research team took extra care to maintain a safe, empathetic environment and allowed participants to pause or withdraw from the interview if they felt overwhelmed. Another significant challenge was participant availability. Due to the academic and training schedules of collegiate athletes, coordinating interviews required flexible timing and, in some cases, multiple rescheduling attempts. The researchers had to be persistent yet considerate, ensuring minimal disruption to participants' academic and athletic responsibilities. And for our limitation of the study, this study was conducted with a sample exclusively drawn from the University of Santo Tomas. As such, the findings are specifically reflective of the experiences of Tomasian collegiate athletes. Because of this institutional focus, the result may not be generalizable to athletes from the universities or regions whose experiences may vary based on cultural, institutional, or resource-based differences. Additionally, because the study employed a qualitative phenomenological approach, findings are based on self-reported experiences and subjective narratives. They, this may be influenced by personal bias, emotional recall, or individual interpretation, which, while rich in depth, limit the potential for broad statistical generalization. Thank you, and for further questions, an email is on your screen to send your questions. Thank you.